Please come back. Everybody outside, please come back. Please come back. So yeah, thank you for being back. A bit late, but yeah, that was what we almost expected. We had also a press conference now in the break with the Minister of Economy. And yeah, we will continue now with the next panel. But before we come to the next panel, which will be about now hearing the voices of the investors, and the next panel is now about how to stimulate foreign direct investments and how to really increase the cooperation between the Baltic states. And as I understood already this morning, the three ministers started already a conversation between the three of them. But before we come to that, I invite now Baiba Braže to the stage, Minister of Foreign Affairs, to give a keynote about she sees the collaboration between the Baltic states. So the floor is yours.
I actually prefer this way. Great to be here, and good morning everybody, and thank you for all the work done with the survey. There were particular elements that really struck me as very relevant. Let me read one about Latvia. That Latvia suffers from negative self-perception and self-criticism, which is being spread through media, exaggerating the severity of challenges that the country faces. Viss ir slikti. I totally agree. That is something that needs to be changed. And I think this survey actually will help our self-esteem. So thank you very much also in that respect. And when I became minister, I told everybody in the ministry, but also the others, we can do everything we set our minds to. We have to plan it. We have to organize ourselves, but we can do it. If we brought the Soviet Union down, if we got the Russian troops out, we joined the EU and NATO, and we have built a successful country, there is nothing that we cannot do. So I'm not surprised about the successes of the businesses here, but also successes of Latvian entrepreneurs outside. Because the best way to success is to act, not to talk, to act. And that is what our businesses are doing. Our task in the Foreign Ministry and the government is to support them. In the Foreign Ministry, we have the full spectrum of foreign policy instruments. Classical foreign policy, security policy instruments, but we also have the foreign trade in the Foreign Ministry. We also have development policy, so external development policy. We also have public diplomacy and engagements. So we have the full spectrum. And together with the Ministry of Economy, with the LIAA, the Latvian Investment Development Agency, we also have in our foreign representations investment promotion, tourism and attraction, and so on and so forth. So we are well organized to support our businesses externally, but also to support foreign investors coming here. And then, as Prime Minister explained, through specific instruments that we have in the government, to also get what is needed to be done with regard to making the government much more efficient, effective, but also productivity to the level where we all want it to be. So that is something that we are committed to. However, the geopolitics are what they are. So within that context, we have three main lines of efforts. One, our own security and defense. So investments of 5% is not because those are numbers that we need. It's actually because we need defense capabilities. Specific capabilities within specific NATO's defense plans, within specific appointed roles that we all have. But we also want other allies to do the same, because they also have the same tasks. Each country has a specific, different set of capability targets, but increasing defense financing, increasing attention to security, internal security, is something that is impossible not to do. So it just has to be done. So by the Hague Summit, 24-25 June, the commitment of the allies is to devote at least 3.5% of GDP for the heavy defense investments, meaning, you know, there is a specific definition within NATO, but then on top of that, another 1.5% also to make sure that there is all the enablers in place and everything that supports defense. So again, that is something that we do nationally and that we expect all the allies to do. That also brings back benefits to the economy, because there is no prosperity without security, as we all know, but it also invests in technology, dual tech, and so on and so forth. Then the second part in all that is the transatlantic bond. Baltic states not only are moving, as I said, within the NATO, the debate ahead and the action ahead on the defense spending and defense investments, but also bringing that perspective with a close transatlantic relationship to the center of the discussion. So that's another element where the Baltic states have played a key role. With my colleagues, foreign ministers, we have been to the US together after the New Year already twice. I have been several more times on my own, and my colleagues also, but also with the EU, within the EU. Our argument always is engage. Engage with the new administration, with the new set of people who are there. Talk business, talk practicalities. Don't leave that space to the others. We have an agenda, we have interests, whether that's defense, whether that's energy, everything else. Let's talk about it. Bring it to the center of the policy debate in the US. Energy independence, again, security defense, very important. The Commission has come up with a proposal, Repower EU, which would, by 27, essentially bring about energy dependence from Russian gas, oil, and everything else. Ambitious task, can be done. It might be that several dates will change within that, but it can be done. We did that as the Baltic states after 22 fully. We stopped all the Russian gas imports, stopped electricity imports. We are fully energy independent. It can be done in other countries. Again, it requires elements in place, but it can be done. Then the second big line of effort that we do is, of course, promotion of the economy. So we all discuss it here, but our embassies, our people are asked to devote a third of their time, everything to do with the economy. In some countries it will be more, and I'm pleased to see that, for example, the foreign trade with third countries such as Korea, Japan, Australia, India, a few other countries have significantly grown. And those are places where we have embassies. And those are places where the businesses have been brought with a specific purpose to get contacts, get interests in place, and create the follow-up elements and all that. So that is something that we will continue doing. And then the third element, people. The task of all of us is to make sure that we learn continuously, that we don't think that we know everything. So what has changed with regard to technology? What has changed with regard to AI? What has changed with regard to everything to do with the energy? For diplomats, it's not something that we were taught when we became part of diplomatic service. But we have to get on top of that. And the same relates to the businesses. Think ahead, think with us, tell us what you have discovered, what is the big next thing, what can be beneficial for the Baltic states. We will be very responsive in the Foreign Office, but also across the board, to think with you, to plan, but the main thing to do. So let's do it together. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Minister Braže. I think that was already a very good overview and summary of the topics we've heard so far. Yeah, and we will move now to the next panel. And here we have now the ministers of all the 3 Baltic states, and I welcome them all on stage. So Viktors Valainis, Lukas Savickas, Erkki Keldo, please come on the stage. And we have as well Ieva Jāgere from LIAA, welcome as well. Maybe one short comment what Minister Braže was saying, and I think it's very important. The embassies also play an important role in the other countries, and I can only give the positive feedback that the Baltic embassies in Germany are very positive and very active, so this can be as well a part of the network we are building up. Yeah, so thank you for being in the panel. I'm moderating it, by the way. So first of all, maybe we start with Ieva in the first round of warming up, because after me, you are the second one who came least into office. I think it was December 2024. So reflecting a bit what has happened so far, and we heard as well today, the product is good, maybe sometimes the marketing can be improved, so the product of Latvia, for example, or the Baltics as an investment location, but the marketing can be better. So what do you see now from your first months in the office, what you can change or what you have already changed?
Yeah, thanks. Hello everyone, and thanks for the question. Yes, it's already 6 months. I'm in an investment and development agency, and I see that actually in Latvia we are doing quite good, but of course we can do better. And I would like to reflect maybe to the recent trade mission we had last week in Japan. And there we organized the investors forum where participated around 90 Japanese investors and entrepreneurs, and of course Latvian companies and entrepreneurs as well. And there was a presentation by investment fund Marubeni. Marubeni is Japanese fund, has invested in Latvian company Connexus Grid, and they were telling how they like business environment in Latvia, and actually complimentary, they had one slide why they love and like Latvia and doing business here in Latvia, and they mentioned four things, which is of course very great marketing to Latvia. And first one was the language. They really appreciate that Baltic region countries and in Latvia we speak English. Yeah, 95% of youngsters, they speak English, and more than 70% speak 2 foreign languages. The second one was corporate governance. We do really have well-structured corporate governance on the large company levels. And yes, of course, highly skilled workforce, what is very crucial for them. And this is what I heard also here today, and that's what I'm hearing from the investors. That yes, here in Baltic region, we have really great and highly skilled specialists with competitive salaries if we compare to other countries. And the fourth thing was support from government. Yeah, this is what they mentioned as well, which is very, very crucial for investors, those who have invested already or considering that the high-level officials are accessible. You can have a meeting. Any investor can have a meeting with the minister, with the prime minister. He's here, and we take care of each of the investors here. So these were four things. We have to improve them and work better on them. But this was great, actually, presented by them, and this is the best marketing for Latvia and for the Baltics.
Okay, so marketing will be better as well in the future?
Yes, so definitely will, and this is where we should work to tell more about the success stories, what we have done, what are the results. Yeah, we have to talk more about.
Okay, and I think it is a maybe already good example for cooperation, because as I remember or understand, this is a cooperation in Japan between Latvia and Lithuania. So let me move to Minister Savickas, and you're actually the second then in the row. You started in November 2024, so 1 month before Ieva. And you're Minister of Economy and Innovation. So you choose innovation yourself, or that was there before?
Well, right. So yes, it's the months are flying by very quickly. I must say it's 5 months and a few weeks, but it seems like it's been a year at least. Innovation has already been in the title, and it's not been there forever. It has been adopted in the last more or less 10 years, and I think it reflects very much the focus that we're having in Lithuania. We're focusing clearly on a couple of things. And I'm very glad to say that the government, once it came in office, has brought clearly economic issues to the center, and it has formulated it in a few clear sort of directions. First is really to continue the focus of economic growth, and I'm happy to say that we took the charge in government while having good, stable economic growth, and our ambition is to keep it going, if possible, to increase it further. At the same time, while doing it, our focus is to really look at restructuring within our economic structure to move more at the higher pace towards high value-added sectors. To do so, there was a lot of conversation at the first half of the conference about FDIs. We shifted this long-term strategy of Lithuania towards more focus rather towards the sectors and the size of investments, the scale of investments, no longer just focusing it on FDI. Our investment promotion agency now works also not just with FDI projects, but also with large-scale national projects. And the criteria is the size as well as the focus of our sectors. So we have listed clear strategic important sectors, from life sciences to ICT to data centers and all the other ones, and including now it's inevitable to discuss about defense industry as well. But that shift helped us to really have a clear focus on those, and now we're working on significant new approaches to really streamline our processes. We talked with ministers today a couple of times before that we have all similar approach to really build those green corridors and highways. That means to review our regulations to make sure that the speed from the moment the investor decides to the moment we can start building the factory is as quick as possible. From our ministry, we have put forward the bill, and next week the parliament will start the discussion, and sometimes that process now is becoming 10 times faster than it was before. I really hope it will move very quickly through the parliament, and we will have this highway built as soon as it is possible. So I think within that framework, There's a lot of focus for attracting new investments. We work very closely with our agency as well, and we coordinate those efforts to make sure that our ideas from regulatory changes move as quickly as possible towards the action on the field through the people in Investor Agency.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that you had already this morning a very good conversation and how to really benefit from each other and learn from each other. And that's what I said as well in the morning. That is one of the main ideas for what we had as well as investors, that if one country can benefit from the other, then at the end all three countries can improve. And that's what we see as well in our company, since we are now in all three countries, that this can be fruitful for each other. So, and very short, how's the cooperation in Japan? You're happy with that between Latvia and Lithuania?
Between Latvia and Lithuania?
Expo cooperation, Expo
that's
Pavilion, we are having one.
So very happy to say that we as ministers have been very close to each other in time, but I think we missed each other by a week or so. So we both had an opportunity to be in Japan at a similar time, and this is a very good example of our cooperation. I think it's a pavilion which continues to have queues of people standing outside throughout more or less every day. It's 1,000 or more people visiting the Expo Pavilion, which is really standing out from the other ones. So I was very excited, and I was very excited to bring a business delegation there as well.
Okay, very good. Yeah, Minister Keldo, you are in office since July last year, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
You are now Minister of Economy and Industry. So is there a special focus on industry policies now, or is that also something you had from the past?
Yes, thank you, and welcome from my side as well. As already several times mentioned, that I'm really happy that we had the morning meeting, that we actually had new ideas, some ideas how to move forward together, how actually all three Baltic states can benefit from more cooperation and exchanging best knowledge ideas, how to see new markets, etc. But considering my title, Minister of Economy and Industry, I would go 2 steps back. I would say that Estonia is mostly well known for being the innovative leader in ICT sector. Whenever I go to abroad, everybody asks about our digital identity, e-voting. Now I can be proud that from the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken, we are the only country in the world who has 100% of our governmental services digitalized. Every service governmentally is online. I'm joking, the last one was divorce. Not especially, but it happened. It happened. So
You can marry online as well now?
You can marry online, and you can get a divorce online if needed. But you still, I'm joking always, you still have the 30-day waiting period. If something is done easy, it doesn't have to be done on haste, as we say. But going to the industry side, as we know, the industry is transforming. The next generation is a smart industry, robotics, even 5.0. And what we see, we have to integrate the well-known ideas, the mindset, what we have on ICT sector, we can shift and integrate it towards the industry. And industry, what does extra, it creates a lot of supply chains. It creates a lot of new high-paying, skilled jobs. So this is something what we have taken into focus. And of course, I have to mention the defense industry. As we see, a lot of governments are putting more and more money into the defense sector, defense forces. For example, Estonia, we will be investing at least 5% of our GDP, at least 5% into the defense forces. So a lot of it actually creates a possibility to develop the defense industry. As I always say in Estonia, that the government should not lead the economy, but we have to create a business environment that is entrepreneur-friendly, easy of doing business, reduce regulative burdens, and so on. So this is something we have taken really strongly into focus. So I'm really happy that I can be at that time the Ministry of Economy and Industry, who can create new legislation and really entrepreneurial friendly environment for not only Estonian companies, but Lithuanian, Latvian companies all around the world who want to invest into Estonia.
And I think it's very positive to hear as well that you see the industry as well as important, because I mean sometimes I'm as well a bit from the topic of industry, from building materials, and it's not only IT. Somebody has to produce still, and I think that's what I'm always saying as well. That has to be balanced approach. So thank you. Yeah, Minister Valainis. First of all, you're the most senior. Does that worry you?
It's a bit more than 1 year, but it's hard to say senior.
Yeah, no, so how do you see this topic in general? And maybe we can show a bit on the slide where we have the priority areas where our urgent attention of policymakers is needed. And yeah, we see the topic of defense, and probably we should talk a bit briefly more on that before we move to other topics. Because we see it as well in Latvia and Lithuania as an important topic. So how do you see, how can we, I mean, there's also this new strategy came out just a few weeks ago. Maybe you can elaborate on that, how you see the defense in Latvia and in the Baltics in general.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Erkki and Lukas for coming to this fantastic event, and first, thanks for FICIL for organizing and putting us all together. And as we discussed today in the morning, there is a lot of common in Baltics and for Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And if you are thinking about defense industry, all three Baltic countries will move to 5% of spendings from GDP for defense sector. And of course, we have our new plan for defense industry development, where Ministry of Economy in Latvia are very much involved. And our goal is to increase by 3 times amount of what we are spending in national level from all spendings which is being done by defense industry. So defense industry's development in upcoming years, we can see what's happening now in Latvia. The drone industry are rapidly growing. The new companies are opening, I would say at the moment every month there is a new factory opened, and these are factories which are actually exporting those products globally. And when we are talking about exporting, I think it's the most interesting thing for all 3 Baltic countries, and we have to find ways how can we attract investors and find new markets for our entrepreneurs together. If we are talking about USA or Japan or India, these are huge economies which are open for cooperation. For example, Japan and European Union signed an agreement, a trade agreement in 2019. And it's, there is no tariffs, no nothing, just go and do business. But when we look at the numbers are still very, very low for the cooperation between our countries and the 4th biggest economy of the world. And I think it's very big potential if we will cooperate as we did for Expo, that we go together with Latvia and Lithuania, so we can share costs, we can offer bigger market, and there obviously is a lot of synergies if we go together, and if we attract investor to our region. Otherwise, it's a much more possibility to do that if we go together. And from otherwise, like if you want to export, maybe you can go and there is. I spoke with some companies like who wants to export, and I say, well, Japan is a bit too big, but maybe if they are putting their forces together with the Lithuanian, Estonian, and Latvian companies, if they go together, maybe it's not even too big anymore. So we can create those joint projects, and we should do that. And thanks to FICIL, we came together and we start those discussions. And I'm sure that soon there will be the first mission which will coming out from Baltics to some region together as a Baltic countries.
Okay, so we will be very happy to hear about that next or first mission actually in that. Could you, probably you can't, it's too early to give any concrete examples, or do you see any specific development where you would like to cooperate, some specific sector of defense, for example?
This will be we already agreed that our investment development agencies will take care of that, and they will find which could be the most interesting, because we all have some plans where we are going to some missions, and of course we just in the corridor we have this discussion. Florian said, okay, come to Germany, okay, but why not? Why not? Because we all are going to Germany, I think 3 to 4 times a year. So why not? But maybe let's go once together and show some bigger impact.
Oh, I think that
Yes,
that's important. Of course, it's certainly not only Germany. We have also ambassadors from the other countries here, but of course Germany can be an example as it's quite big. But we are here quite compact. Prime Minister said once we are a compact country here in the Baltics, and I think that it's good to have really this fast approach. And
Yeah,
so,
if I may add,
yeah.
just what we are discussing in Estonia, Germany's new government has said that they will invest into German economy at least 1 trillion. I say trillion euros. It's 1,000 billion euros. So it's more than the merrier for all of us, and there's extra. So German market is so big with so many potential opportunities that there's more than enough for Latvian, Lithuanian, and Estonian companies. And if we can do collaboration there, going into the market, having better connections, having better capabilities, having more visual effect, then it suits all of us.
No, and I think that works very well to really have an anchor to start with one country, and then start here as well with one country, and then spread out in the other 2 countries. So I think that's a very good plan, Minister Savickas.
I wanted to jump back a little bit to the specificity of defense sector as such, and I think it is a very interesting moment for us to live in when you discuss about those opportunities that we have at the moment. And like I said, 5% or more of GDP, not just in the Baltics, but in our region, that is a very significant indicator of not only unprecedented decisions for security, but unprecedented opportunities for economic growth. And here I think there is so much we can do on coordination a little bit more. One is within the next 2 to 3 years, to my understanding, we will see more or less a new vision of evolving in front of our eyes of regional defense industry ecosystem. What we see, our ministers of defense talked a lot more about coordination. Our military personnel will even further coordinate in terms of what we need, and this creates opportunities for us to use the finances that this sector will get to push towards more presence here in the region. Would that be a new investment facility here? Would that be a joint venture opportunity here? Would that be a industrial cooperation opportunity? Or would that be a new company coming up with new innovative solutions which we can help and assist? And we look at all of those different categories, and we try to make sure that we have concrete proposals on the table on each of them. I think it would have been unthinkable a few years ago to go into military joint ventures from state companies, and now we have an instrument where we are ready to go, and we already have that ongoing with Reinmetal in Lithuania. We also have new industry development opportunities put forward from our innovation agency, when you can see that if there is a company which wants to innovate and create a new opportunity, we are ready to start to fund it at an early stage, and then we need early stage buying from our army to make sure that we can pilot and test case it. And our cooperation opportunities are very vast because we need facilities to test it, to pilot it, and all of those coordination elements are going to give so much more than we can actually imagine today.
Oh, I like a lot the idea now of this ecosystem, what you just described, the Baltic defense ecosystem, and I think it's very good to create a story around that. Maybe that's something probably you should have in mind, how maybe there could be a Baltic story, of course with national focus then at the end, but a Baltic story around this defense sector, because what also Minister Braže said, I think we need to sell also better to the rest of Europe what good things we are doing, and how, do you have an idea how this plan could be marketed?
Yeah, definitely, because for sure we have common values and common vision. And to add, I would like to reflect also to other projects. We are partnering with Estonians and Lithuanians, not only in defense industry, but of course in energy. We are having common project with Estonians Elwind offshore wind farm, currently being ongoing feasibility studies, Rail Baltica, I've already mentioned today, which is a very, very significant project for all the Baltic countries. But also in the financial sector, actually, before LIAA, I was head of private equity and venture capital department in Altums, National Promotional Institution, and there we had great projects like Baltic Investment Fund, where all 3 countries invest in fund of funds, which after investing in the private equity funds, and this money goes into the economy, in the startup companies and development and growth companies. And another one initiative was Baltic Capital Markets Accelerator Fund. I really do hope it will be established very soon and we will start investing in the Baltics companies. So we know how to cooperate and how to create values for our common economies. But of course we should do more. We should definitely need to have more projects, common projects. Yeah.
Okay, so we can note, we can expect a plan from you how this could be marketed.
Definitely, we can create
very
a plan together with the agencies from the Estonia and Lithuania.
Yeah, we have like 10 more minutes, but I would highlight another topic which was also highlighted by the investors in our sentiment index. So the one, of course, is defense, but the other is energy, and I think Minister Keldo mentioned as well, maybe starting with you, Minister Valainis, in energy cooperation. Elwin was mentioned, but how do you see as well cooperation in the 3 countries regarding maybe wind, but then also storage? I think that is an important topic. I know in Estonia there is still this project in Paldiski, this zero terrain. So what opportunities you see in this cooperation?
I think the energy is one of the most important one, and it's important that we all 3 Baltic countries are developing together. For example, I will say that in Latvia we felt that Lithuania have done something good in the field of wind energy. First 3 months we were not producing energy because the water level was very low. We were producing, but not much, not as we used to a few years ago. But we felt a very low price for the energy because the wind was very good in Lithuania and the energy was coming from Lithuania. This was very, very good, and everybody felt that. But we have to make that all our Baltic states' energy market is ready to produce enough energy and ready to export the energy. And I think in upcoming 2 to 3 years we will succeed that, and we will be energy independent and more powerful into this field, definitely. So all countries has a lot of homeworks, but we have to cooperate, and I know that our ministers of climate and energy are working very close together to deal with those challenges.
Could it be an idea to have a common market for electricity in the Baltics?
This is what's on the table because of we disconnected from the BREL. Actually, we are in very, very same boat all together. And we are very interested that in Lithuania is still developing the energy projects. We are developing energy projects as well. We opened last week 110 megawatts wind park, which will double our wind energy productions in Latvia with just one park. So, and there is a lot of coming in the upcoming years.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, I mean, electricity price is one of the key factors of investments in the Baltics compared to the Nordics. We are much, much higher still. And Minister Keldo, I don't know, do you see how can we bring down the prices or make it more competitive or more interesting for investors?
Yes, of course, in words it's really easy. We have to invest more into new capabilities and capacities of energy. And taking back what we discussed in the morning, I see that 3 of the Baltic states we have quite similar end goal. We have to invest more into renewable, clean energy. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of potential new investors come and ask if you have enough clean, renewable energy where we can have our certificates when we produce different products. We have to sell in different markets. And at the same time, they want to know if the energy is accessible, stable, and they can be sure of that anything doesn't happen. So this is, I would say, a common interest of all three Baltic states. As already mentioned, there is on the table. Now we are integrated into the pan-European grid, so it gives us more logic to be a common market for the price as well. But I would say that overall, as I mentioned, the interest is mutual. We have to have all three Baltic states have to invest more into land parks, solar or wind parks, offshore if possible. It's usually the discussion of funding and how to find more demand on that renewable energy. And there usually comes the industry side. What kind of new energy intensive industry we need, how we can create more extra value, as I already mentioned, new jobs, longer and high valued supply chains. So this is a bigger economy for not only for Estonia, but for the Baltic region. And of course, yes, to be honest, we have to take into account that, as you already mentioned, a lot of investors usually are looking also into the Nordic side. And they see there, for us, unfortunately, the Nordics are, as I joke, world champions of energy and price. So we have to do more in the Baltic region to be more competitive.
When do you think we have Nordic electricity prices?
We'll see.
3 years?
Usually, as I said, it's easier done in words than in practice. So it needs a lot of new energy sources. So the demand would actually be as similar as the supply. So as we know, we're in a big deficit of energy, have been in the past few years. So it takes time to make a change. But I mentioned, as in the government side, it's really good to see that we are on the same page. We are doing the same investments. We are doing everything we can to speed up different planning, permitting processes. So actual investors can come in and invest in renewable energy. Potential investors can come in and invest in new industries. So it's all in one big ecosystem.
Minister Savickas, what's your guess? When do we have Nordic electricity prices?
Well, there's a couple of things happening. I think first is, like you say, the concept on the price seems to be the most immediate one. But at the same time, the price gets resolved once you make sure that you provide sufficient supply. And I think this is where our strongest now push is happening. Lithuania has been very steadily growing, but steadily but fast into renewables. And together with the new Minister of Energy, the government has approved a change in terms of the timeline, moved it up from 2030 to 2028, what Šarūnas from Invest Lithuania already mentioned, is the new deadline under which we seek to be matching our renewable energy supply with the needs of our economy. And from that moment on, we want to make sure we are now will be in an opportunity to start exporting. And I think this is something which has a critical element. It is now in a public tender for our offshore wind farm, wind park. So if anybody is looking for a large investment opportunity, it is now public and it's waiting for offers to come in. It will be a massive park, and it will be, to my understanding, a really regional development. And I think in terms of regional renewable energy, it will be a significant contributor to our needs of both having sufficient supply of renewable energy and also to have a good price on it. And this is becoming a very interesting topic for us to coordinate a little bit more. But however this plays out, I think it still remains a very clear issue that the focus for cooperation on energy is moving in a very good path. From desynchronization this year to other elements, I think we're going in the right direction. And then it will be an issue once we move to that future of renewable energy, making sure we have sufficient balancing elements within the infrastructure, which will be critical.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a very important point. Yeah, maybe not for today, but I think a good topic for discussion then between the three of you is maybe also these new materials we see, for example, CO2 or hydrogen or green ammonia. So I think there would be also room for cooperation. So that would be nice to hear in your future consultations that you include that as well. Probably that's, as I know, is a separate topic for a long discussion, but yeah, would good to hear. Maybe very briefly, as we are coming to an end, regarding infrastructure, 2-3 sentences about Rail Baltica, how we continue. And maybe you're happy that we're running out of time, but...
Of course, it stays as an important project. We will move on, and this is where we have to go together with the Baltic countries, Poland, and Nordic countries. That we will fight for. We have to fight for the EU financing for the next part of the project. Like at the moment, we in Latvia are very sure that we have commitment that we are going forward with the money we have and what we will succeed. That it will be functional and we have to work together to get all line through Baltic countries, and EU funding is very important over here to follow it.
Okay.
Well, it is and will continue to be a strategic important infrastructure project. I really hope that we'll have significant breakthroughs within our cadencies over here. Because it has two elements. One is really strong opportunity in terms of business development for the cargo, but at the same time, when we are discussing about our defense, it is really a critical infrastructure here as well for all the military needs as well. So I think under those two priorities, it falls as a very strategic project. And I know from my colleague Minister of Transport, he is very much focused on making sure that we continue significant and on-time delivery of this project.
Erkki.
Yes, already mentioned, it's critical in so many levels, and I'm really happy to say, because under Minister of Economy is also planning, and we have already planned the railway corridor all the way through northern Latvia, so basically to the border, and now we're building we have already over half a trail to basically had agreed with builders already. So we definitely are seeking the goal to finish before 2030. And I know also our minister is really keen and agile on, if needed, to contact with the colleagues from Latvia and Lithuania. We have already, with the new government, we have find extra financing of from the state budget as well. So we are moving it forward.
Okay, thank you. Maybe one last question, and also looking a bit already to the next panel. What we would like from the European Union, and we have later on a panel with the European banks and also Commissioner Dombrovskis. We heard you mentioned, of course, already the financing from the European Union, but maybe 1-2 sentences starting with Ieva. What would you like to have from the European Union if you would have one wish?
Of course, less bureaucracy and more flexible and faster access funding tools.
Yes, as mentioned already, I can say what the entrepreneurs from Estonia has said, and our government as well. We have to simplify. We just had the talks with the Commissioner Dombrovskis. I'm really happy to see that from the Commission side, they are taking it very, very seriously, having clear action plans. From the government side, we have already said, and we have been doing different simplifications on different areas, and we're reducing bureaucracy, because if the world would be an ideal place, all entrepreneurs say that if possible, governments should not interact. Let us do business. We will do it greatly. Please give us just a competitive environment where to do business. So that's our mindset. And I'm really happy that the Commission has taken clear steps towards it as well.
So don't want to repeat too much, because I think here we have a very common trait. I think deregulation and cutting down red tape and bureaucracy is something which we're, as a government, very passionate at the national level. We are very supportive at European level, and we'll continue to do so, and throughout Lithuania's presidency, which is upcoming. But on top of that, I want to put another topic next to it, and I think it really is an important one. We talked a lot about defense sector, and we know that we have some positive indications in terms of more flexibility from European Commission to borrow and some space in the fiscal area. But I also feel that this is something where we see an even situation within the region. We see that our part of European Union member states are really contributing those unprecedented 5% or more on defense. And that is something which is not only for us, but that is something for the whole Europe. So I would really love to see that in the next financial perspective, we would only see not only just opportunities to borrow and loans, but direct funding very similar as it was done after COVID pandemic, because that was something which was a clear indication that this is a priority and a clear financial contribution to something which solves an issue which is common.
Okay, thank you. And your wish?
Foreign investments are very important for development for every country and for the European Union especially. And we in Latvia take it really, really seriously, and all government is working very closely to make better environment for foreign investors. And I'm very glad that according to EY report in Latvia last year was increased by foreign investments for new projects by 50%. So it's not only 50%, it's 1,000 new jobs, which was created last year. So this is very good result, and we can see that for the Foreign Investment Council comes out this year much better result than it was before. I read from 1.9 to 3 to 3. This is very important, and my advice for the European Union would be just listen what foreign investors are telling and give a reply, help them to feel here in Latvia, in Lithuania, Estonia, or European Union, feel that they have this feeling that they are in their home market, and we will have success.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we're already at the end of the panel. I would summarize, we will get a new plan for the Baltic defense ecosystem. We will try to channel a big part of the trillion from Germany to the Baltics. And yeah, the ministers will continue continue their cooperation on the topics we were just discussing today. And yeah, looking forward to the next panel after the break, when we see if Commissioner and the other colleagues can fulfill your wishes. So thanks a lot. And yeah, again, 10 minutes break. We try to be back in 10 minutes. Thank you.